Hey, good morning.
Quilters ASSEMBLE.
Oh, man, that was anticlimactic.
That was not what you did in practice.
No, because
You
I did
said
the
you were
Avengers one, but I don't want
Yeah.
the mouse to sue me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very litigious mouse.
The mouse.
Yeah,
He might sue you for calling him the mouse.
he might.
He might.
He might.
Oh,
yeah, I
man.
don't
Better
know.
watch out.
Yeah,
Hey, well,
absolutely.
guys, it is Monday. Man,
It is
does it feel like
Monday.
Monday?
I feel great.
It
Okay,
feels like Monday.
I slept so hard last night.
I did not sleep that well.
Yeah, so
A little tired.
Dallas never sleeps past 5 something, like
what
ever.
happened to you?
Yeah.
And I slept till 6:30. I feel wonderful.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
feel good that you slept longer?
Yeah.
I took like a 2-hour nap yesterday because
Uh-huh.
that's what you
I
do
did
as a
not.
minister.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was good.
I cooked lunch because I love my wife.
I only.
Um,
Well, my wife was also taking a nap, so.
no, I saw someone
sick burn.
Someone posted they were like we all took a nap on Mother's Day because that's what we needed. It was like one of the moms posted that. I thought it was great. Yeah. So no, I cooked
Might have been
lunch.
my wife.
Funny.
I don't know.
I cooked lunch, and then Alpha's parents
Wow.
hung out for the afternoon and stuff. And then when they left, we watched a movie.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, we still had life group yesterday, which is like a lot of groups are like, nope.
Yep.
And so
Yeah, we ended up we were going to meet, but we canceled because
We didn't have
was
group.
at Mother's Day.
Did you call your mom yesterday?
oh man,
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I did.
okay,
I did.
good.
We talked a lot.
Did you get her a gift?
Yes, I did.
What'd you get her?
I can't tell it because it's not there yet. It hasn't
Oh, Michelle, come on. Is it coming today?
It's arriving, I think, tomorrow.
He ordered it
It's
yesterday.
Shipped. No, I did not.
He ordered it yesterday.
No, I ordered it off of Etsy, which
Oh.
means that it takes forever.
Handmade.
Okay, anyways, but not by me.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, by. Never mind.
Let's clarify. Nobody's
Yeah.
getting anything handmade by me either.
Yeah, it's for the best. It's handmade, just by somebody who's good at hand making things.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I called her in the morning. Now,
Okay.
granted, it was before church.
You
and
called her
so-
before church. Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
right. Because
epic.
I'm a good son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
No.
say with your face that's debatable.
No.
Anyways,
It's just a big
I always
world.
made my mom wait till after church because
Yeah?
it's game face time before church.
Yeah.
oh man, this is
Uh-huh.
the first one,
Yeah, first one.
Mm.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
dude.
sorry for people who are watching it don't know. It's my first one since my mom passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
So-
a little weird.
So we've got the full gamut because
Mhm.
like my relationship with my mom is kind of like rocky. It's just took a huge hit and a wound, and so like
Yeah.
it's like I didn't call, but we've talked recently, but it's just something that
Mhm.
I'm still hung up on, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I feel like thinking about the like you didn't get the chance to,
Yeah.
but like my mom is still alive, but things are rocky. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
like hopefully if you're watching this, like you can feel that tension. And then Joey
Yeah.
did the right thing.
Yeah, right.
So yeah. So
Well,
just
Yeah. I called, but she didn't answer. So
man.
Yeah. I
Because
felt-
it wasn't Happy Son's Day.
I felt a little hurt, a little betrayed, and so I texted her, and she did text me
Yeah.
during church, but it was
Nice.
short.
Well,
so.
that's good. She texted.
And then I called her. I called her when
Yeah.
I had gotten home. So and
Yeah.
we talked.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Yeah, so it was different. It was actually more weird leading up to the day than it was on the day.
really?
So when like my role, and I'm sure Zach, you relate to this too in your role. Sunday holidays aren't real.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean Easter's real, but not the
yeah,
other ones.
but it is real. Easter is real, but it's like all I want to do is go home and sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And my
Yeah.
wife was on the
Yeah.
worship team, and so
right.
and so like she got the gift of a nap yesterday
Yeah,
for the most part. And
yeah,
and so like I think that was helpful. And sometimes you wake up from a nap and
yeah,
or your wife wakes up from a nap and
Yeah.
just feels terrible.
yes,
Like, and she didn't yesterday, and I was
That's good.
super thankful that didn't happen to her.
That is
'cause
really good.
That's
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
always terrible.
This is why I take short naps, because if I nap for more than like 45 minutes, if I nap that long, I feel miserable.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just 15-20 minutes. That's all I need. Yeah.
Yeah, they say more than 90 minutes is like at that point you might as well go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
Yeah. You went to sleep once. but
Yeah.
I don't wake
anymore.
up from my kids like
No.
doing anything.
Yeah.
And so like I can sleep in the living room and they can be doing
Oh my
anything.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's fun. We always
That's called Father's Day.
when our kids were little, Alpha, it would always make Alpha mad because the kids would never wake me up. But like the dog could like scratch her ear, and I would wake up from the toenails rustling something. Like
Yeah.
it was wild. And I'm like, and I swear we're just listening for different frequencies. Like she's listening for the mommy, and I'm listening for the dog telling me there's an intruder in the house.
Well, yeah. So I think I've said this before maybe on here, but
because Wilma's gonna tell you if there's an intruder.
She
in the
will.
house
Hey,
by scratching
have you
her
ever
ears.
come in my house before?
Yes.
Wilma
Dude.
tells you.
Yes,
dude,
she does.
she tells me everything.
She calls you every name.
Yeah,
Yes.
but by scratching her ears though. I mean, if there's an my point is not that she's not going to tell you. It's the point that if she does tell you, it's not going to be as faint as scratching.
No,
her
it's like
ear.
it's like when the toenails hit the side of the crate. Like because that's like they're standing up and they're going to stand up when they
Yeah.
bark.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've said this before, but whenever before we had kids, I definitely slept through everything. And then Rachel stayed up with like the baby
Yeah.
Yeah.
during the first year. And then after that, it was like, you're up, Zach, you're up, Dad. And so then for some reason, any sound was like, I had to be in protection mode is what it felt like. But I wasn't controlling this. It was just like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm awake. And so now
instincts.
it's gotten a little bit better. Like I
Yeah.
can sleep through stuff, but like Riley came and she camped out on our floor the other night.
Yeah.
And I almost actually it was Saturday night and I almost stepped on her and that's scary to me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's like you can't
Yeah.
come in
Didn't
in
know-
my bedroom and just camp out there and then be
There's
like,
kids on the ground.
yeah.
It's just
yeah.
like walking on Legos.
Yep.
Yeah, but they scream back at you. So you screaming
Instead
at
of
them.
you screaming.
I did
at them.
one time because I can't hear if the kids come in our room at all, and it was about maybe 18 months ago. Ezra came in our room, and we don't let our kids get in our bed; they have to sleep on the floor if they're going to stay in our room.
That's
And so I didn't know he was in our room, and it was a Sunday morning, and I always like Alpha and I forever have always just before we leave we give each other a kiss. So I always Sunday morning before I leave I walk over and give her a kiss on the forehead, and then walk out of the house. And that Sunday morning I didn't know Ezra was there. I literally stepped on his face.
Oh man. That's the worst way to wake up.
Like full force in my Jordans.
Oh no.
Crush on the face. You could see the mark of my foot on his face.
Oh no.
And
Oh no.
that's the worst.
it's the
Oh
worst.
no.
guy.
It's the worst,
Oh
man.
no.
And so now,
no.
so
I don't know
ever
what
since
you're
then, I pull out my phone and I take the light of the screen and hold
Did
it
he
on the
just
floor.
like bust out screaming?
He didn't even know. And so then I woke him up just to make sure he was okay. Well, then he could feel it once he woke up, you know? Yeah, it was wild.
That is a crazy story. What? And he didn't even wake up?
No.
And then you woke him up, and then he was like, ow, my face hurts.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I wouldn't even just wake him up and be like,
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
You cross your fingers really quick.
got to make sure I didn't crush his skull or something.
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
His mom will find out.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
Wow.
This happened yesterday.
On Mother's
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
right. Yeah,
actually
yesterday.
morning.
There you go. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day hospital visit.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, it was definitely one of the more terrifying moments of my life.
Yeah. That's
Scary.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Full force
So-
slammed on his-
So you didn't really do like you did a Mother's Day sermon.
Yeah.
But an undercover Mother's Day sermon.
I really never do. I
You started out by saying this is not going to be a Mother's Day
yeah.
sermon, and then talked about women.
Yeah. Yeah. But I never really, unless it's a like a Christian holiday,
An actual holiday.
and I call them real holidays. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Like,
call them that too.
yeah, like unless it's a
You
Christian.
guys heard it here, folks. Dallas said that Mother's Day is not a real holiday.
So I mean, it's
Just kidding.
It's real.
It's a special-
It's
it's a
real
special
adjacent.
time.
It's a special time. It's important to celebrate moms.
Yes.
But I never really acknowledged.
That's not what you said before we started.
Yeah. I never really. It's
Sorry.
it's important
Just had to
to
get it.
celebrate moms. I never really acknowledged the other random, like in the sermon.
Yeah.
I never really preach on them.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many, and how do I pick and choose? Like I know that there's federal ones.
Yeah.
How do Am I going to do all of them?
It's even hard to know which ones are federal and not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look it up.
And then we live in a capital city. Am I going to do the state ones? Because it was also like Truman Day last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Truman
Day, last
And
Monday.
at some point I have to choose like what's going to dictate the preaching calendar.
Yeah.
And so I just choose not that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep, I agree with that.
So it happened, though. It actually kind of happened, though, that what we were talking about, I could leverage a story that had a female main character.
Yeah.
And so I did do that.
And I think people felt that.
Yeah.
Like they connected the dots even if there were no dots to be connected.
Yeah.
But I think there were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think that definitely was interesting. Like, you definitely like Tabitha was definitely the older lady who made clothes for people vibe.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we all have that sweet old lady in our lives.
Right.
And it's really cool to see that. So did you know, that's also in the Bible. But just seeing and celebrating that.
But I'm always sensitive because like yesterday was weird for me, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that,
Yeah.
And there's people who have, especially some ladies who have, even more hard emotions.
Yeah.
Around Mother's Day. That same thing is true at Father's Day. Like there are people in the room that Father's Day is really, really hard for. In fact, I know one person who just doesn't come on Father's Day because it's too hard for them to handle.
Yeah.
And so,
And I think that makes sense going back to what we were just talking about, how like sometimes that's a reason why sometimes these holidays don't dictate the calendar.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's political, sometimes it's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And so I choose to honor, like we'll do Christmas, we'll do Easter. I might acknowledge the holiday because it's it's in the newspaper, it's a current event, it's something worth acknowledging, but I try not to lean into the holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to I think at my last church I actually found this. There was like something that someone had written about moms, like it was a big inclusion thing, and I felt like it was really good, but I almost feel like sometimes we drift, like we swing that pendulum too far of like, well, let me try to list everybody so no one feels left out,
right?
And then if you miss one group, then you've left them out. And so I think just in the general, just saying like Happy Mother's Day, like we care for everyone, like
and we gave moms a gift, and we wouldn't have held that from any lady who asked for one,
for sure,
right? And so we did that. Father's Day, we will say Happy Father's Day. There'll be a Father's Day gift, but it's not going to be about dads. You know what I mean? And so that's just kind of how I roll.
It's interesting to think about, like because these are things that we think about.
And sometimes I take hits for it. Like I'll admit that too. Like sometimes people get really mad that I don't. But I would rather make someone mad who thinks I should than make someone mad who's hurting in the background because of the day existing. And me pick at the scab of that.
Yeah.
And also, like if you didn't watch the service, you should go watch it. You can find it at YouTube at Capital West. You can just search that. But we also did the senior video. Which is so closely tied to moms, and so I love that dynamic that happens, and so that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like that hits.
Yeah, man. So proud of our seniors, and I do think like it is an opportunity to celebrate. Like you do celebrate your mothers, our mothers in that. I think we did this on Mother's Day last year.
I think so too.
I don't remember. Yeah.
So it's just kind of. It's just like, I mean, like calendar wise, it works out, because
graduation was last week.
It was Friday for Cap City, and then like a week prior.
It was Thursday for JC.
JC. Oh, JC was Thursday.
I think so.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, it's just like that works out, but also like thematically, like it's kind of for a lot of our mothers, it's a full weekend. You know? They're just seeing their kids like celebrated at church and on the tails of seeing them graduate. It's really
and I'm guessing we'll probably throw that video on social media this week, like on its own too.
Yeah, we will.
So
we put it at the very beginning of service, and I had somebody like hey.
I wondered if someone would be upset about it because people come like 2 songs late almost every week.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, and there was one, and I was like, we'll post it.
The hard thing about that video
also
too,
set your alarm clock.
Yeah. Well. Oh man,
I whispered it, so we didn't know.
If you're watching, we start church on time
every week.
Every week. It's rare that we don't start right on the dot.
Every week
happens. Yeah, every week.
Yeah, it's automated. It's automated.
The lights come on when it's time, and so we better be ready. There've been like 1 or 2 times since I've been here that I've been just totally late and somewhere else. But
I was late a couple times.
Yeah,
playing guitar.
Oh yes.
Anyways, the other thing that is hard about that video is that like we have a lot of seniors, and it's I wish we had more time that people could read through the different things.
Yeah.
It's typically about 4 seconds a picture.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's hard. Like I wish there was more time, but it just goes so quick in the sermon. So that's why I'm posting it. We'll post it on social media, and you can pause after each picture and just kind of read through. And that's my encouragement, is just to read through and maybe pray over each picture, each slide, or every student. Just an opportunity to celebrate.
So here's a question: should we not post the video? Should we just post the individual slides as one long post, like one scrolling post? That's a question. Then people could just swipe through them.
Yeah,
at their own pace. Sorry, just a thought.
We could do that.
This is how my brain works.
We're live troubleshooting this. Or workshopping this.
But is somebody more likely or least likely to slide through that?
I would be more likely to slide through that because Dallas is a jerk. I read so fast.
Yeah.
That waiting for the video to move on a lot of them.
That's true.
I mean, that video is moving pretty
some
quick.
of the verses were longer than I could read.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
yeah.
I would be more likely to skim through that. I think.
That's easy to do.
I mean, you could even do both, and
you could do both.
I don't know. Who knows? So
you can throw the video at the end of that, because you can do pictures and video together.
Yeah, but nobody will see the video because they have to go through the pictures to get to the video.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
We could put some. I would put video in the front, and then
maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways, so watch out for that. Yeah, you'll find
out if what we decide.
I was just thinking, I think
That's a good idea, though.
people would be more likely to read them if they were pictures than pause it and read and pause it and read and pause it and read. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think I agree.
I
agree with you.
So.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, so service yesterday. Service yesterday we were talking about Tabitha, who's also named Dorcas.
Dude, that was such a great line. and you can't hear me from the stage, I think.
Probably not.
But I said in my seat, I can't remember what I said.
Well, that was really interesting.
Something like dorks are cool these days, or something.
I was watching this video just yesterday of this comedian going, why does every meathead have a podcast like they're smart, and why does every nerd think they're cool like a meathead? And it was like a video of Joe Rogan with Zuckerberg on his podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, this is perfect,
dude. It's so true. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. And Theo Vaughn's videos, man, are so funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, and that's the truth of it. There has been a cultural shift.
There has been.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And I think just movies, and I think Marvel has a big part of that.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Just
Star Wars too, and
also. Just culture shifted so much in every area that it made certain things more palpable than others, and I think that swung in the nerd's advantage.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
That happened at Ozark.
You were you definitely took the role of a little bit of a roasting.
I roasted a little yesterday. It was great.
And I was just sitting in my seat but most of culture doesn't agree with you these days.
Yeah. So that everyone was laughing, except for Joey, because it was about him.
So at Ozark,
okay, all right. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all right.
I've got to. So you said, and I had somebody ask me about this later. Out of that sermon, because people look at me and they're like, "Yeah, that guy plays video games."
You could tell.
Yeah, you could tell. And so you said something about Well, the way you said it is not the way I would say it, but you said something about dressing up your
fake digital dolls,
like fake digital dolls, and I have to have a confession moment here. That is me. Right? Yeah, can we lower?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here
oh,
we
that's
go.
great. Confessions.
Yeah, that's more natural. Like
that feels better in every way.
Yeah.
My eyes don't burn.
Just wait. We'll bring it back up in a second.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Will. So
get the break.
Yeah, I spend hours making my character look.
Do you spend money on it?
Close? No,
okay.
No, I don't spend.
Okay.
Well, it depends on the thing.
Oh,
you know, I have in the past.
Because I love it when my kids spend money on a free game to make their fake digital doll look cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Fortnite.
I hate that.
Yes,
I have fake digital dolls look so
however,
cool.
I will.
We're bringing these back
okay,
up.
bring them back
there we
up.
go.
I spent money once on Fortnite. Because if you work hard enough in the season, you can gain all of that back. And so it's one payment that just reoccurs.
Sure.
Right? And so now I'm sitting with that amount of money in my account, and I don't cash it for, they call it the battle pass. I don't cash it unless I am like, okay, I'm going all in on this season to make my money back.
Yeah.
Right? So
I've almost done that for Rocket League, and then if I don't make it, then it's fine. But I pay.
No. I will make it. I will play all the time until.
But you don't have responsibilities.
I don't have kids, so I feel like if I were, however, though,
if I bought it, I'd be buying 3.
I would just play with my kids. So if I did, anyways,
you hear what I just said? If I bought 1, I'd be buying 3.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to buy 3, do you?
No, I mean, no, they're not spoiled or anything, but they
Anyways,
would be like, you bought your own. And
yeah.
What about ours?
It'd be dirty.
Go get a
You'd
job.
be doing them dirty.
Go get a job. I don't know.
You just have to keep it a secret from them.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Dad, why do you have all the boosters?
What I was really talking about, you were mentioning kind of in that, but what I'm talking about is some of my favorite games have the character look customization on the front. Like you open up the game and you're like, hey, how does your character look?
Yeah.
You know, and it looks in the mirror, and then you get to spend, hours. I'm serious, hours.
Ridiculous.
Sometimes multiple days. Sometimes Sometimes I'll get into it and I'll spend like 2 hours doing it.
But why?
And then I'll have to leave.
But why?
And when you leave, you start all the way over. And so like
one more time, please.
I've tried it, multiple times. Like,
but why, Joey? What's the purpose?
I just want it to look like me. I don't know, man. There's not much purpose. I'm an artist.
Man.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist. There we go.
I remember. So like when the Wii came out and everybody started making Mii's.
Yes.
I spent like 5 minutes.
No, hours, man.
Yeah.
What about the Bitmojis?
I don't even know what that is.
Or
I don't
is that what it's called?
Yeah. No, you got it.
I've never made one.
I don't even know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like,
Snapchat. Snapchat's stupid.
It's like
you know what
like
I don't like
version.
though. Here's my old person moment. All right.
Oh.
Okay,
we're listening.
Which is gonna make you guys feel real old.
You gotta talk like this, honey.
Back in my day, we didn't have cameras that scanned our faces and did it automatically. It's true, because now you don't even have to do it. Like when they first came out, you would have to spend so much time combing through all of the options and getting them just right and that kind of stuff.
You go, is my nose actually that wide?
Yeah,
because you can change the width.
And then
the
you
nose?
ever get your camera out and just like look at yourself
No.
to make sure?
Nope.
Yeah. So, of course you do. Yeah, but nowadays they just scan your face and be like, yeah, this is what you look like. And then maybe you make a couple changes, but they save all the time instead of starting from scratch. And it's just like.
And then he's going to go out in public in like a fishing shirt and a ball cap.
Yeah. That's what I'm wearing right now. No, that's what all my characters wear. There's what all my characters wear. In the customization, as soon as you get to a clothing store, I'm buying joggers.
Yeah, I think my joke hit. I think it hit.
Yeah,
I don't think it just hit.
I think
it smacked right in Joey's face.
Oh man. All right.
Listen,
Anyways,
if you felt convicted, it was the Holy Spirit, not me.
I didn't feel convicted at all, actually. So
no, and obviously all that was in jest. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I played what's the PS2 racing game? What was that?
Gran Turismo.
Thank you, Gran Turismo. I would definitely like do everything you could do to the cars in that game because that was part of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, very cool.
But I didn't spend 2 hours doing it because I don't think I've ever. Well, when I was a kid, going over to my friend's house for sleepovers, we would play 2 hours playing video games. But I don't think other than that I've ever really played video games for 2 hours.
We did. My friend and I did like a Halo all-nighter.
Oh, you're
where
saying
we just stayed up late
you've
and played.
never spent 2 hours straight, unless you're at like a friend's house? Oh man.
No.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Spent way more than 2 hours in one session. Okay.
We got to reel it back in.
We got to reel it back.
We got to reel it in.
So we're talking about Tabitha, talking about service, right?
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
And that's where we were at. The video game thing was just for the thematic element,
Which
but
really hits.
yeah, but
Smacks even.
there you go. We were talking
That
about.
smacks for sure.
That's right.
Dude, we're gonna get all the bad comments about that.
That's right. Yeah, because it slaps. So anyway, we were talking about service yesterday. That was really the thing, right? Tabitha we went to her funeral. That's where we went.
We did.
And at her funeral, the thing that was brought was everything she created, all these garments, all these tunics that she sewed for all of these ladies. Like they were all standing around holding up their thing. And like that's her legacy. And yeah, there's a miracle that happens in the story. But honestly, the miracle, I don't think, like I know the miracle becomes the focal point because holy cow, she was raised from the dead.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that it was like that was just so God's glory could be displayed.
Yeah.
But God's glory was already on display in what she had done in her life of service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just exemplifying or pushing forward the glory of God through her life.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
I think you tapped the deeper layer of the things that people brought because like her raising from the dead is that the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But if you dig a little deeper, you find something that's a richness of life that we all probably have experienced or always experience.
Yeah.
In them like playing the long game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's people playing the long game in just being kind or being thoughtful.
Yeah.
And I think we see that in that story.
And sewing is, and back then it maybe not as much, but sewing is such a small thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know though. Have you ever sewed?
well, I'm not saying it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Like I sewed 2 projects in home ec in school. My mom threw both of them away.
Yeah.
That's how bad
anymore.
they were. I know it doesn't.
I've sewed a couple hammocks
Sad.
There you go. See, no, I could put
hammocks
on a machine. Yeah.
Are you talking about like you made hammocks?
I went and bought the material from Joanne or Michael, and then Michael's, and then you. I did it the first time, just one fold over.
Yeah.
And then the second time I got smart and I folded the little fraying seam
inside,
and then sewed it. And that one is much more premium than the other one.
Very
we still have
fancy.
both of them though, and they get used pretty often.
Yeah,
That's so
I
cool.
can't do that.
I can't
I
either.
wouldn't even know how to put thread on a sewing machine.
I forgot.
But
But my wife is great at it, and
but anyways, but we would look at sewing and be like, it's such a small thing. You know what I mean? The way that someone would look at like mowing their neighbor's lawn, like that's such a small thing, or like changing the oil in a single mom's car, like that's such a small thing. If that's a thing that you do, you don't even think about it being a thing that people don't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would anyone care about this? It's just something that I do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's exemplified, I think, in the story about Tabitha is like, it's this thing that I just naturally know how to do. And so it's the thing that I'm doing because I can do it for you. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But doing it out of reverence for Christ, like she gets called a disciple.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's
really big.
Yeah, it is
you
huge.
know, and what a big deal. And yes, the resurrection also happens, but in that we talked about, but I also talked about it like don't expect this.
Yeah, it almost to me like when I remember the sermon from yesterday, the resurrection is not the part that I remember.
It was the
from
footnote.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the footnote in the sermon.
It was like almost like
I have to talk about it.
Peter came in and stole the show.
But not really.
Yeah.
You know, like that was what Peter could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Peter was doing what Peter could do. But you don't have to be able to do what Peter could do. You could do what Tabitha does.
Yeah.
So imagine any funeral that you've ever been to.
Yeah.
And the person resurrects, like That's insane.
Yeah.
But they resurrect, and then they see all the people who have gathered
Yeah.
to come to watch them.
Yeah.
What that relationship, emotion, situation is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also,
attending your
imagine being in heaven and then getting sucked back down.
She's like, no!
I don't know why it makes the Tim Allen Santa Claus sound whenever she gets sucked back down, but it definitely does.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, she really
Yeah.
pulled
What a great friend you are.
pulled a reverse Enoch on him.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, that's a deep cut sucked out of heaven.
That's a deep cut. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that was the thing yesterday. Yeah. So,
and like the thing that where that exemplifies, like there's so many rules that people don't know about in our church.
Yeah.
Right. And it was not like we were not talking about the church service, like, which I liked. Like, it wasn't just about, hey, go sign up at the next.
I mean, I mentioned a couple things.
Yeah, but like like that's a thing of like people think that if like I don't know where to serve. Yeah. I don't have something, and really what that I think the motivation behind that thought is just like the things that I do have, or like what I know I can do or want to do is not worthy enough to be called service.
One of the best quests to sign up for is
the worship team.
The worship team, as long as you're proficient. It's the food bank.
Yeah.
And it's I had somebody come up to me yesterday.
Low entry barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they said, man, I've always wanted to go do the food bank.
Just
I haven't ever done it. And I was like, oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's super easy, but it's like instant gratification. If you need instant gratification for something, the food bank is it.
Yeah. And kids love helping with it too. So if you've got like elementary to middle school, high school kids, they love helping with it.
And if you are watching and you're like, hey, maybe that's my thing, it's the third Saturday.
It's this Saturday.
This
Saturday.
The third Saturday of every month, but this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Uh-huh. I'll be there.
And then
I won't be.
I don't know the official time to show up because I just try to show up early.
Show up
7:30?
about between 7:30 to 8 in that range. We try to open the doors and get cars moving through at 8:30, but there's some setup that has to happen. So 7:30-ish is really helpful. I usually show up at 7:30 when I'm MOC.
Cool.
So
cool. Yeah, but that's like the one of the easiest ones to do.
Yeah, or
anybody
like,
can show up to it. It's really good.
Yeah, I also think like most of our hospitality job like roles, right?
Yeah.
Like you would not believe the impact that coffee team has
huge
on our church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
there's literally someone, like we had a baptism yesterday. Someone's going to wash that towel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude.
Yep.
And does that matter? Yeah, that matters.
Yeah, it does.
I was actually thinking about that today.
Yeah.
I don't know who grabbed that towel.
Yeah. Usually it's Lori.
Well, and you did a few months ago or a
few weeks ago.
Shout out several people who kind of have those undercover roles, and man,
absolutely.
Is God gonna turn his face towards them?
Yeah.
Like the people that you would never think about. Jason sits in a closet the whole church service. Right. And his whole team, you and
you've probably benefited from his work.
Almost undoubtedly.
Yeah. Like the whole entire streaming. Like if you checked out, like me, if you checked out the online stream before coming to Capital West,
which is everyone who comes here,
which is everybody who comes as a new guest, like it, like you benefited from Jason's ministry.
That is a strange mission field, but it is one. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. If you've come in with your kids screaming and you're exhausted because you didn't have time to get coffee this morning, and thank God they had some there.
Yeah.
Like you have benefited from that.
Or special shout out to the person who is willing to learn the software to stand behind the computer and check those guest kids in.
Dude.
Like if you come in for the first time, you don't know where to take your kids or how to get them plugged into children's ministry, and there's someone smiling saying, hey, let me take their names down. It's right over here. Yeah. Let me help you get there.
Yeah. Man.
Like such a little thing, but such a big thing.
Yeah. And just willing to show up and that's the thing. Like this is like a twofold like because like one, it's a celebration of those people.
Yeah.
Right. And two, it's like a call to action. So
well, I mean, Zach, I'm talking to Zach probably more than you in this moment, because you do a lot of other functional things on Sunday morning, but we don't get to stand on the stage if those things don't happen. You know what I mean? Like, like our service is negated if other people don't serve in those areas, you know? Yeah. Or maybe not negated, but lessened.
Well, yeah. You know? Like, think about too, like another part in scripture is like with Stephen and the chosen seven.
Yeah.
You know, like you talk about like the apostles.
Yeah.
wanted to be teaching the word of God.
Yeah.
And people were getting neglected in the food distributions.
Right.
And so they appointed 7 men filled with the Holy Spirit to wait tables, right? Like that's literally what it says is like we need to be teaching. We can't be waiting tables right now. Like and so like you talk about enabling what you do, like it's biblical. Like it is even back to the original church, like service is so important, and you would not believe the impact. And just because somebody doesn't see it, or you know, sometimes those jobs are thankless, you know. And you definitely don't do it to be thanked. But that doesn't mean it's not seen. You know, that does not mean that it's not celebrated either.
I heard a story. I think it was from Bob Russell. I think that's who it was. But so a guy operating in a large church, and if it wasn't Bob Russell, then whoever it was. But they were operating in a large church, and this pastor was going, and they said, like, hey, I'm going to go help stack chairs because, you know, I can be a servant too. And so they're stacking chairs. And one of their volunteers says, like, hey, like, it's cool that you're stacking chairs, but like this is where I get to serve. And it was like almost them saying, like, you're kind of taking my opportunity to serve by stacking chairs. And so you can frame that however way you want it. Like, you know, like, oh, if he doesn't stack chairs, then, oh, is he too good to stack chairs?
Right.
And in that story, it kind of encapsulates both. Like, it's important that we, you know, lay down our pride and say we can do whatever job, like we would be willing to do any job that exists in the church. But also there's also that's their thing.
We also have to be able to lay down our pride. So this is the other side of that. You also have to be able to lay down your pride to say, hey, I trust you to do this thing. And better than I will or can. That's sometimes harder than the other. It's almost easier to do everything yourself than it is to say, you know what, Jason, you've got this. Go for it.
In a lot of ways, I can't like afford to try to hold on to all those things.
No,
because I'm only one guy.
Right.
And so so I have, like, I physically can't do it, so I have to let those go, and that's a good feeling. Because it kind of forces me into the thing that you know, we should be doing.
However, if there's chairs to be stacked and I'm standing around, I'll come get me. I'll stack chairs.
Me too.
I got this. So
we're definitely not unfamiliar with stacking chairs.
We
don't have a chair stacking team.
So some of my favorite moments though, like there will be a spill in the lobby, and occasionally, like sometimes I do have the time to run and grab the mop real quick. You know what I mean? Or sometimes it's almost simpler for me to go get it because it could be in a locked closet. Like rather than explaining to someone, hey, this is where it is and here's my key. And
I think your church size kind of but changes that a little bit.
But then every time without fail, I'll be rolling the mop through the hallway and someone will walk up. They'll be like, no. Let me do this. You're too busy for this today. You know what I mean? And I have to let them, you know,
that's a humbling thing.
It is. You know, and it's both ways. Like I'll happily mop it up. But I also appreciate the person who's like, you know what, let me do this. Because that's their way of serving that Sunday, you know? And so, it's that thing.
Man.
So anyways, we got to go, guys.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
I don't know how we hit 40 minutes with all our side quests that we talked about.
That's why.
That's exactly why. Well,
also nice nod to the sermon title.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of myself for that.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye. Have a great Monday.